Who would have thought that natural light works better? Hi, it's Carlos. Welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to do a little bit of an update video to kind of give you a little bit of what's been going on the channel so far, and the last little while especially, and kind of some ideas of what I have going forward, and also to get a little bit of feedback from you, just to make sure that I'm producing some videos that are of interest or value. So first of all, I wanted to thank everybody for their feedback and kind of their comments on the Card Ladder video and the Virtual Expo video. I got some great feedback from a couple of different folks, so that's been really helpful, and some really good ideas and some thoughts, some things that put things in my head going forward for potential things that I could do for future videos. As I mentioned before, I watch a lot of content, so I get a lot of ideas and inspiration from different people in kind of the YouTube space, and also in other hobby areas, podcasts and all that. So if I incorporate something, I try my best to give credit where it's due. So in the Card Ladder video, I did mention that I was hardly the first person to think of doing a video about that, although it was a lot of fun to do. Now, quick update I want to give you on the Card Ladder video. You may have noticed that Josh from Cardboard Chronicles replied to it, kind of offering to answer some more questions. So I did take him up on it briefly, but I was a little bit busy on the weekend in the last couple of days, so I haven't been able to follow up. So that's 100% on me, but they were extremely responsive, I will say, just so we're all clear. Now, I wasn't the only person they gave that kind of a message to, so just so that I'm not, I'm not proclaiming myself to be that special. Although, I will say, I did notice towards the tail end of my trial that a certain card appeared on Card Ladder mysteriously. So hopefully you saw that on the screen, and it could be a total coincidence, but still no 88 Alomar. Just saying. Now, one quick thing I'll mention as well. I haven't checked in the last couple of days, so if the 88 Alomar, suddenly showed up, don't come at me, because I stopped checking a couple of days ago. I will follow up on one condition, because for the most part, I'm really not that concerned or interested, other than the scalability part, which I had a curiosity about, and I did mention it in the video, and I tried to do my best to try to take that video and that review from the perspective of someone who potentially could be interested in the product, because I'm not really that demographic. That's not really what I want to do, because I'm not really so much an investor. I will dabble in selling some cards here and there, but it's not my main focus or my main concern. And even the data and analytics they provide, while interesting, aren't necessarily something I would need even if I wanted to do a lot of selling. So the value-wise, I tried to stay kind of even-handed in terms of not critiquing it too much, because I understood it was new. And at the same time, I tried to find, is there enough value here if I was someone that was in a demographic that was interested? That was really important. My interest in it was purely academic, but at the same time, I am still having some curiosities about the scalability part of it, even if I myself am not interested in the product. And that's where there's going to be a little bit potentially useful information going forward. I can tell you that on Sports Card Live, Jeremy Lee is going to be interviewing Chris McGill from House of Jordans and Card Ladder. So that's part of the reason why haven't been in too much of a hurry this week to follow up, because he's going to have a chance to ask a couple of questions. So I'm recording this on Tuesday, June the 30th, and the interview slash kind of conversation is going to be happening on July the 1st, Canada Day. So I'm going to have the day off like most of the country, and I'm going to be able to sit down. I'm going to have my beer in hand, and I'm going to be in the chat checking it out. And I'll see, and we'll see if some of those questions come up and some of them are answered. I'll try to throw them in the chat as well, just to make sure. But if I get the answers to that, then there's really no reason for me to follow up additionally. However, if there is something else that kind of comes to my mind, then I may follow up with them to try myself to get some of those questions answered. Now, in that vein, I have a question for you. Is there interest in kind of getting more information about stuff like that? Because of course I did mention the Market Movers tool from Sports Card Investor in that YouTube channel, and I do pay attention to, and just so you understand, I watch a lot of hobby content and listen to a lot of hobby content and read a lot of hobby content. I'm interested in general in what's going on, even if it's not necessarily for me. Market Movers is not really a product for me. Card Ladder is not really a product for me, but they're out there. So the question becomes, is there interest in, potentially reviewing one of the other ones? Because I did get the suggestion to look at the Market Movers since I did bring it up, and I'm more than willing to do that. But it's one of those things where if I'm going to do it, then I am going to be investing my own money into it, because I don't think they have a free trial. So I can definitely review it and take a closer look at it and kind of give the same kind of analysis. They've been around a little bit longer, so I'm going to be less forgiving as far as the type of data that's in there. But I can review it from the perspective of someone who is considering spending $50 a month potentially for the service. I'm more than happy to look at it, but I just need to know if that's something that would be of interest to you, because I'm more than happy to make the video and put in the time to make it happen. So just that. So that's the first question I have for you, and let me know in the comments if that's something that would be of interest to you. And I'm more than happy to make the video if there's enough interest to make it worthwhile to put in the time. Now the next order of business is kind of a fun one. Oh, and a thing that I want to mention. This video I don't think is going to qualify for it because I'm going to try not to make it too long a video. It's mostly just an update piece, but I do like to do my longer kind of rambling talking videos, and I knew that I had the ability to put in the description different timestamps to take you to different spots, but I didn't know you could create chapters. So this is something new that I'm going to try to incorporate into the channel when I do make one of these longer videos, especially ones that are going to go off for a little while and go in a couple of different topics. You can now put, if you put it in the right format, you can actually create it so on the bottom bar, you can actually skip ahead to the part that interests you. Right on the bar, right on YouTube, which is actually really cool and something that I'll try to incorporate a little bit more going forward if I do have a longer video. And that'll be just so you can skip ahead to the topic that interests you if you don't want to listen to it all the way through. But bear in mind, if I do a lot of those, I will occasionally put stuff on the screen. But it might be worthwhile for you just to kind of have it on the background as almost like, think of it as almost a podcast. Because if you do it that way, then you're not just staring at me the whole time, just talking to a camera. But that's just something I threw out to you and something I'm going to look into adding to my videos going forward as I keep trying to tweak and add some more stuff to it. The next one is kind of a funny story. I did allude to it already, but it's going to be a while before I get to show it to you officially. But in one of my last pickup videos, and I'm going to show a clip to it right now. So I'm going to consider this done. As far as I'm concerned, it's done for the moment. If for some reason I come across the green spectrum, I'll give it my best shot. But I'm content with this. This is actually a pretty good little subset I was able to put together, and I'm pretty happy with it. So there you go. Now I meant what I said. I 100% was completely, totally. I was done. I was happy with where I was. I hadn't completely completed the rainbow, but at the same time, the other card was a 1 of 1, so it was off in the ether somewhere potentially. It could be months, it could be years before I see it. I'm not worried about if I can get it or not. If it comes up, I give it a shot. Totally meant every word of it. Less than 24 hours later, I was having dinner with the family. And I decided, I just finished eating, and I went on my phone to quickly do a good look at COMC. I look at COMC and eBay a couple of times a day just to check and see if there's any new Medano cards that I'm missing or something that might catch my eye that I might want to potentially put a bid on or pick up later on. Less than 24 hours after I published that video, I saw this. Thanks to COMC for making a complete liar out of me less than 24 hours after I said it.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Exactly. Anyway, so I saw this, and after I put my head in my hands for a little while, I sat back and decided, well, it was being $200 was the asking price, which was already more than double what I had paid for the most expensive one of the other ones. But at the same time, it's like, I'm so close. So it's at that point where you go from being irritated that now you're going to have to spend this money. You don't really have to, just so we're clear. But at the same time, you're like, you're so close. You've almost completed the rainbow. You're right there. So then the part of your brain that justifies things clicks in, goes from being really irritated, first world problems. You don't need this. It's not necessary. First world problems. Goes from that part of your brain to the other part of your collecting brain.
It will be mine. Oh, yes. It will be mine.
So at that point, I have to have it. Now it's just a matter of, can I talk it down a little bit? So I tried to make an offer, and they made a counter offer, and at the end of it, I just sucked it up. I think it was, I want to say $173, might have been $175. It was thereabouts. Either way, it was way, way, way more than the rest of it. But unofficially, officially, I can say I'm done the rainbow. Like the full rainbow, no qualifiers, no nothing. It's done. I am not touching one more of those damn leaf rainbows, though. I am done with those. 2 1-of-1s is just too much for me. It's a bridge too far. I will definitely pursue other rainbows in the future, though, because they are fun to do. But 1 1-of-1 is my limit. Anything beyond that is a no-go, and that's a lesson to me next time to pay closer attention to that checklist, because I didn't realize it when I started doing it that they were 2 1-of-1s, and I could have saved myself a lot of grief if I had picked something else to do a rainbow of. Anyway, the last point I wanted to make before I finish this little update video, like I said, it's just a quick update video. I want to give you a little bit of a heads up on some future videos I'm working on. Like I said, it's going to be a pickup video at the end of the week like usual. I did get a couple of cards in today. Nothing on Monday, but Tuesday was good. Check out my Instagram, because I do post usually a card representative if I get a mail day or something. You can get a sneak preview on the Instagram. It's a hint of what's coming up. Also, if I have like a video like the card ladder video, I'll mention it on the Instagram as well. It's a good way of just keeping tabs of what's going on. and a lot of folks are commenting. You can leave a comment in there too, and I'm happy to reply to it there as well. So whatever works for you. But as far as future videos are concerned, I am very much in agreement with the general premise. And I can say there was a bunch of recent videos where different folks, including, I'm going to highlight one of them, one of the recent videos of the Essential Credentials, and I'll put a link in the description to this video so you can check it out. It's talking about a couple of different things, updates to the channel as well, and that kind of thing. But one of the points that he was making was that it is good to take time at a time like this to enjoy some of your existing collection. And I couldn't agree more. Sometimes lost in the acquisition of the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And we do that with Instagram, we do that with YouTube, we do that everywhere. We get really excited about the next thing because it is fun. It is fun looking at, like, I have it here. I'm not gonna reveal it too much. Quickly, that's it. Just a sneak preview, a couple of the cards that are going to be in the pickup video this weekend. But it is always fun to look at the next thing. By the way, one of those is on Instagram. It's always fun to look at the next thing that's coming up and that's happening. But at the same time, sometimes we don't have we don't take the time to appreciate the stuff that's already in the collection, the stuff that's already been there, the stuff that maybe we enjoyed when we first got it, but then we didn't forget about it, but at the same time, we didn't give it the same thought and consideration that we did initially when we first got it. And it's good to sometimes go back. And that's why some of these showcases that I like to do on the channel from time to time are fun, because they allow me to go back and look at it, but also be able to show you different themes. Like you can take the existing cards and like, this type of card or this type of card and look at different things. And sometimes people don't watch every video, so maybe it's the first time they've seen it. So even if it's repetitive to you and you've seen all the videos, well, thank you for that. But if for some reason you have already seen it, doesn't mean it can't be shown in a different way that hasn't been done before. And one of my plans is, and I'm crossing my fingers, if I can get one of the packages, the item that I picked up for the Virtual Expo, if I can get that in hand, I'd like to do a showcase of all my different Be a Player Ultimate cards. They're all in kind of these graded holders and that. And I'll show you some of the different versions and different types because I have different ones over a variety of years. And you can definitely see the changes in the case design, the changes in the card design. And it's kind of cool to see a contrast. And I've got enough of them at this point that it can warrant its own video. So that'll be one of the ones that I'll have upcoming. In the same vein, I may have more reviews. Like I said, I still would love to get some feedback on that. If it is something that's interesting to you, I can work on that. That video will take a little while to put together because I don't want to spend 2 days looking at it, especially since I have to pay for that one. But I want to take a little bit of time and really dig into it a little deeper and give you as good a review as I can to tell you if I think it's worthwhile or not. And I'm happy to take the time if that's something that's of interest to people. So that's it for today. Just a little bit of an update on things that I've been working on, things that I'm potentially working towards, and a little bit of a preview of what may be some future videos, and getting some feedback from you. So as always, thanks as always for checking out the channel. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to throw them in there. I'd be happy to reply. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks very much.